And gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you're joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, like, subscribe. Again, our goal, 3,000 subscribers before May. That means we need probably around 500 more subscribers before the end of this month. So if you're watching, if you've been watching, if you know a friend who watches, make sure that you are subscribing to the channel. We appreciate all of your patronage. We appreciate all of your support. We want to keep that going. It was a good weekend. I hope you had a great weekend. A lot of sports going on with the NCAA tournament now in our rear view mirror. We focus in on the start of baseball, and also we focus in on the NBA as it goes into the playoffs that will not include LeBron James, unfortunately for me as a Lakers fan. But I don't want to talk about, professional sports right now. I want to go back to the world that I exist in, which is, for the most part anyway, on a regular basis, I am involved in prep sports. And I have been for my entire adult life. In some form of capacity. I've either coached in high school, college. I've worked with youth programs. I've done camps. I've done clinics. I've done combines. I've done tournaments. I've done women's sports. I've done girls flag football. I have been in the prep realm when it comes to sports, volleyball, basketball, obviously. And the one thing that I've noticed over the time as we have more and more embraced this digital world is that we have more young people who are embracing the information age. And with embracing the information age seems to come the need to announce everything, to make everything a rollout. One of the things that Ice off the Joe Budden podcast mentions all the time, and I'm not the biggest Ice fan, but he says everything's a rollout. And with everything being a rollout, which I to some extent agree with, although I don't think it's all, carefully crafted. I think people do things haphazardly. We have gotten to a place where we love the attention that comes with announcements. And I mean, who am I to judge? I mean, look around, like I'm a guy talking into a camera on the internet. So clearly, this attention thing is not just for the youth. But the one thing I've noticed is that over the years, I see more and more announcements. I see parents announcing where their kid's going to play youth football at, or what AAU or travel ball team they're going to be a part of. I see those announcements. I see young men and women who announce where they're going to high school. And I find it so strange. So let me, before I go into there, because it might sound negative, let me talk about one of the positives that I think happens in this new digital age, in this new age where we deal with name, image, and likeness. The ability to get one's following up earlier is a thing. And one of the easiest ways to do that as a prep athlete, especially as a top prep athlete, is to announce a top 5 or a top 10. Because what you essentially do is you tell those fan bases, hey, you should pay more attention to me because I may be going to your college or your university. I think that's a clever way of gaining more attention, building up one's following. And as we know, with followers, they don't tend to fall off once you gain them, unless you do something drastic, obviously. Because most times when we follow somebody, we forget that we're following them. And their content just happens to pop on our page, from time to time. So I always thought that was clever. Especially today, it's clever, right? We see announcements about going to camps. We see announcements about going on unofficial visits. We see announcements about going to spring games, excuse me. And again, this is not me hating. This is me understanding what you're doing. We see announcements about what high school you're going to attend. But none of that matters. None of that matters if what you put on the field, doesn't match all of the announcements. It becomes similar to the boy that cried wolf. It becomes a situation where people believe, oh, well, they're just announcing because they want attention. But every time we pay attention, there's nothing to show for it. And eventually people just stop paying attention. What you also rob yourself of when you make all of these announcements is you rob yourself of the most eyes on the day that it matters most, right? And for our prep, in our prep world, the day that matters most is the day you sign, right? The day you sign, the day you make the commitment and you sign the contract to the college that you're going to attend, that is when the most eyes should be on you. But if you had eyes on you on the top 10 and you had eyes on you when you were going to a camp and you said, look at me, look at me, look at me. By the time you get to the actual day, you've lost some of the buildup. You've lost some of the anticipation. And in losing that buildup and losing that anticipation, now you've cheapened the experience. It's almost like I complain when proms are for people other than seniors, right? Because in my mind, the senior prom is something that is supposed to be sacred. Like that's something that's supposed to be like, you get a chance to do this once for sure. Yeah, you might get invited by somebody and go to another senior prom, but you only get one prom that's meant for you and your class. And so like when you get the schools that do the senior junior prom, or the schools that have a prom where anybody is invited, to me, there's no difference between prom and homecoming, because homecoming is for everybody. And there should be a homecoming dance similar to the prom, but not as formal, as exclusive as the prom, because it's homecoming, right? But what happens when you get a senior junior prom, or a prom that's open to everybody, is that by the time people get to their senior year, they've been there and done that. And so they don't even get the magistry, the experience, the ambiance of their senior prom, because they've already done that. Like they've already made that a thing. And that I feel like that's against everything that it's supposed to be. And I feel that way about a lot of things in prep sports. We are so uber sensitive. We want to be seen so bad. We want to be noticed so bad that we're willing to bring attention to everything, even the stuff that we don't need to. I don't care about your announcement on where you're going to high school at. You know why? Because I don't know what you're going to do in high school. I, as a coach, want to coach everybody. I want to coach the kid. I want to get the kid as a freshman who is supposed to be a stud. And I want to get the kid as a freshman who's never played the game before. Because the enjoyment for me as a coach is looking at where you are as freshmen and seeing where you can be as seniors. That's really awesome to me. I am looking at young men right now and young women right now that I saw as freshmen and as sophomores who are now coming into their own and are budding stars in the area. That's fly. I love to see that. Doesn't matter to me which high school they went to when they came out. I get more involved in are you loyal to the school that you went to? What reasons went into your decision? And I also champion people going to public education. Because I think that, and this is no shade at private school coaches, because I've coached in private schools. But I know that when we look at why private schools are so good, it's not because the private school is just better. Like for instance, here in Savannah, Benedictine just won a state title. Does anyone seriously believe that Benedictine won a state title because they were just way better at coaching than any one of these public schools are? Or when you look at Benedictine's roster, do you see a bunch of legitimate Division I talents running all around the place? The answer is the second one. Their quarterback's already enrolled at Auburn. Their running back is going to Georgia to play baseball, and everybody wants him to play football. They've got a wide receiver who was arguably the best in the state. They've got offensive linemen, linebackers, defensive ends, all over the place. Guys who are being recruited by the Naval Academy and Army. They have legitimate talent. If you took that talent and you dropped it at Savannah High, guess what Savannah High is doing? They're winning the state championship, or they're coming close, because you know things have to drop the right way. But you get what I'm saying. This isn't a situation, and again, those guys at Benedictine do a fantastic job. So it's not a diss against them. It's just an understanding that where the talent goes, and where the talent accumulates in large numbers are usually where people are going to have more success. So when you see these private schools or these middle school kids who announce, hey, I'm going to XYZ private school, you're like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. Congratulations. But why are you going there? And usually to save face, most of them will tell you, oh, well, I'm going there for academic reasons. You know, I want to, because the academics are better there. Well, what's better about it? See, because when we start asking questions, and again, I've worked in private schools. I've worked at private schools. I know what goes on the inside. I know how the sausage is made. And I haven't been at just one. I've been at several. I know how the sausage is made. And I've worked at many public high schools. And I know education's not that different, my guy. The education is not that different. What is different is the numbers. The numbers are different, right? Instead of 25 in a class, you may have 7 in a class. That could make a difference. I'm not here to tell you there's no difference, but what somebody is able to learn at a private school, they can 100% learn at a public school. But the announcements, they just take on a life of their own. These announcements where people want to go out and tell people who they are and what they're doing and how they're going to do it, and I'm going to announce this, I'm going to announce that, I'm going to announce this. Like, at some point, the people that you really want to pay attention, they just stop paying attention. Because everything can't be an announcement. Everything can't be a celebration. We have to learn how to celebrate accordingly. If we celebrate the things that need to be celebrated, then all of a sudden, the stuff that doesn't need to be celebrated, we don't care about. What do? We just work. That's it. We just work. And the more you work, magically, the more the celebrations come. But when we celebrate things that don't need to be celebrated, we cheapen the experience. So when you are posting all of your, hey, I'm going to be at XYZ University this weekend for an unofficial visit, but you don't have an offer from the university, when you're taking pictures in uniforms at schools that you're never going to attend because you're either not good enough or you don't have the academic structure to be able to get into that school, and you're posting pictures of it, what are you really trying to do? What are you really trying to do? We used to call it stunting. That's what you do. That's what you're doing. You're stunting. And we're not looking for people to stunt. If you're going to post a picture of you in a uniform for a college, which, by the way, all of these photo shoots are getting out of hand. Out of hand. But if you're going to post a picture of you putting on the uniform of a college, shouldn't that college have some type of interest in you? If you're going to post about going to a camp at a school, shouldn't that school that you're going to's camp have legitimate interest in you? If you're going to say, hey, I'm blessed to receive an offer from a school, shouldn't that offer be something that you can commit to? Because most of the offers that get posted, they're not committable offers. And if you don't know what that means, that's for another pod. But most of them are not committable offers. You can't say, okay, I commit to this school. So how real is the offer? How many people have we seen get offers from Division I schools and on signing day not sign Division I offers? It happens all the time. We got to celebrate accordingly. I'm not telling you guys out there and you girls out there to not celebrate your victories, right? Celebrate the small victories until you get to the big one. I get it. But at some point, we got to get back to work. Because if we just sit around and collect trophies for things that we don't need trophies for, when we look up at the end and we get a real legitimate trophy, nobody's going to be paying attention. Or when we don't get the real trophy, everybody's going to be looking at you like, yeah, but you had this, and this. What happened? I don't want to see anybody put out. And I know that the number one way to get to the goal that you want is to work at it. And you know, far be it from me to sound like the old man screaming from the porch. But back in my day, we worked more. We taught less. We worked more, we taught less. And I think that in life, as I've gone through life, the more I worked, the less I taught, which is, by the way, funny coming from a guy talking into a camera. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get the irony, trust me. But the more we work, the less we talk about it, the less we look to be seen about it, the better we are for it. So as we get ready to roll into this next segment, we're in April right now. Starting spring ball here soon in the next few weeks. It's time to get back to work, young men. It's time to get back to work, young ladies. It's time to lock in and do the things that you know you need to do in order to be successful. Not just to get people saying, hey, man, congratulations on that trip you're taking, that you're paying for yourself. All we have to do is look around, and we see the examples all the time. We see the warning signs all the time, which means that all you have to do is look on your feed, scroll through your Instagram, your Twitter feed, see all the people who were blessed to receive, blessed to be going to, excited to announce, and see how many of them a year later are where they want to go, are where they want to be. I guarantee you it's less than you would believe. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. To do this thing, agree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like and subscribe. Check out all the podcasts we've got going on. Zebra Stripes podcast. A new gene therapy will be dropping today. Check out a mock draft I've got coming soon. A New York Giants exclusive mock draft coming soon. Check that out. Until next time, peace.